Hi everyone, welcome to Pins and Patience. My name is Jeremy. If you've watched my videos in the past, you'll know that every time I've completed a build, I've taken a video of the final product. That's what this is. I'm very blessed that you chose to join me. I hope that everything in your family and with everything that's going on in the world today, that you are safe, you are sound, and you're managing, and I do mean that. This video is going to be the review of the Star Trek DS9 Nemesis duty vest. You would see this in many times throughout the series of DS9 as well as the motion pictures. Let's get into it. What you're looking at, if you clicked through or you didn't watch the introduction, this is the DS9 Nemesis duty vest that you would see worn by pretty much anybody from Chief O'Brien as a non-commissioned officer through all the commissioned ranks. I'm just going to go over a couple things. First and foremost, if you notice here at the bottom, it is bias bound. Now, within the pattern, it calls to be for a hem facing. I didn't do this because I ran out of main body fabric. So I actually like the way that the bottom of the vest looks with the bias binding. I think it rounds it out. I also think it'll give it a little more sturdiness as things move along. Going up the center here, we have the zipper. Of course, it's just a standard zipper. I don't think there's anything fantastic about that. I'm going to just bring your attention up here. I didn't realize that the zipper went fully to the top right at the very end here. Alex had pointed that out to me. So once I get another zipper, which is supposed to be coming in the mail, I'm going to take this one apart and then I'm going to run the zipper all the way to the top. I'm just going to open these up here at the top and I'll show you the hook and eye fasteners. I hope that's relatively clear for you. I'm hoping that the focus isn't too grainy, but as you can see here, this is just the standard hook and eye that you would pretty much put in anything else. I chose 3 because, again, I didn't run the zipper all the way up, and as I was wearing it, I noticed a distinct gap down here. So hopefully, after I run that zipper up, this is going to tighten up, and then I'll only need perhaps 1 or 2 hook and eye closures to turn that into a much better hold. I took some artistic liberty, and that being said, the pattern standard calls for all trims to be 3/8 of an inch. So everything that you see that is supposed to be bias bound in these areas, it's all supposed to be 3/8. I chose to do it 1/2. I honestly thought that the 3/8 looked way too narrow, especially when you were wearing it, and I just like the 1/2. I think it gives it more depth. I think it actually brings your eye a little bit better. It was easier for me to work with when I was going around the neckline and the shoulder line here. I found the 3/8 of an inch, along with what the pattern called for in width of the fabric, was too tight. I just wasn't able to do that. I really believe that that's just due to my sewing skill. I'm going to turn this around so you can check out the back. Not much of a difference here when you start looking at it. Again, all the trims are equal at 1/2 of an inch. You can then see the bias bound area here. I'm going to bring the camera right up into the jacket body so I can point something out. Now, before you lose your minds, don't worry, that is a water-soluble marker. It's a good old Crayola. The one thing that I wanted to point out is that this is the quilt line that goes up the back of the jacket. And if done properly, and I think I've done a really good job, the body seams of the panels, as you can see that runs here, are supposed to be directly in line with one of the quilt lines. So I was successful there. And if you can take a look, I was also successful on the right-hand side, and I think I was just off on the left hand. Yeah, I was. As you can see on the left-hand body panel here, I'm dead center in between. Where is it here? These, yeah, as you can see, I'm dead center into this quilt line right here. So that being said, I really think that I did a good job. I was able to match up the body seam and the quilt lines 2 out of 3 ain't bad. I'm gonna turn this inside out. With every build that I create, I'm the first one to point out the flaws, my lessons learned, and the things that really took me a lot of time to recover. I guess here, again, going back, we'll go back with a little bit of stylizing. I added a card slide in here. That was very easy to do. It was just taking a longer length of the liner and then making little pockets as it goes up. I've got 3 in here, so you could carry the driver's license, the debit card, the Visa. That way you've got everything you need. Or you know what, you could even put your con day pass, put that in there so you're not having to have that hang around your neck. This guy over here, this is actually a cell phone pocket. Now and this is just a simple patch pocket. It was, you know, it's sewn down here, everything rolled up there. It's got a button closure here. And I made that for the size of my phone, and it works really well. I would show you how well it works, but I'm using my phone for this video. Now I'm going to show you some of the things that I had trouble with. As you can see here, I had some measuring problems, and you know what, that is just on me, and I'm going to hold that to my lack of experience. I definitely had to recover in a couple places, really get these ends secured so that it actually has an even seam on the outside. As for the seam here, as you can see, I folded it over and then did a top stitching down this side. The other side isn't as bad. I was able to do some recovering, and in this way, on this side, again, I pressed the seams down and I did some top stitching here. Again, it was measurements issues over here that caused me problems. I had a lot of hand sewing to get this back in on the inside. Now that I've worn it and I've looked at it and I've adjusted it, I can feel this in here, but I don't believe that it's noticeable when I'm wearing the vest itself. Moving forward, up here on top, these are the top seams here. Those are all stitched down. Now, if you're wondering about the liner, I get it. Again, due to, I'm going to say, my fear of doing things incorrectly and things not working out for me, in my previous video, you will have seen me lay out a piece of liner over top, underneath the body panel pieces. And then I just traced it out in chalk and I cut it out and then attached it accordingly. Granted, if this was a proper liner, of course, you wouldn't see these, you wouldn't have seen those seams, all that kind of good stuff. But again, I'm in my learning processes. That being said, I think it's neat and tidy. I was able to take care of all the edges. Everything is closed. Everything is tidied up here with the biases. The zipper's in good shape. Before I attached this piece of the liner and this piece of the liner here, I did add the pocket and I did add the card slide. And here it is, me wearing it. I think it fits my body shape quite well. I'm a bit of a bigger guy when it comes to around the belly, unfortunately, but that's good food and maybe a little too much beer. But coming along, I think that the overall chest pieces and the yokes fit very well. I'm very happy, and I'm quite proud of the line of both the yoke lines here and how symmetrical they are. That was always a worry for me, of these things being offset. And I'll be honest, when I was doing this, it actually was. It was completely offset, and I was about to give up, but I didn't. So there's the back, or pardon me, there's the front. I'll turn around, you can see the back. Can't really explain much other than you can see it there. There we are. That's the, oh, sorry. At the very bottom, there is just a little seam, and I'll show you. At the very bottom, I'm going to bring your attention to the fact that I did use a bias bind, and I had to extend the two pieces of fabric because they weren't long enough to go around the whole body. So here is my bias diagonal. I tried to put it as dead center as I possibly could. So there it is. Again, there's the back body seam. I tried to put it right in line there. And that is just one of those things I wanted to point out for you. There we have it. Star Trek DS9 Nemesis duty vest that you would see being worn by senior non-commissioned members like Chief O'Brien, and as well as all of the officers from a lonely ensign to the highest admiral. This has been Pins and Patience. My name is Jeremy. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.